We talked a little bit about what Unnatural History was at one event, but can you just tell us the main plot and premise of it?
It centers around this boy, Henry Griffin, who was raised all over the world and is thrown into a high school in Washington to live with his uncle and his cousin, and he doesn't really know how to interact with people in Western society and do the normal, raise your hand in class. And from the little things like that, it grows into the story in the season where we are now. We've established that it's a school attached to the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, so it's part of a national museum complex, and we all intern at the museum, so we have to work in different areas, and they work in the Doom Rooms, where it's the Department of Unknown and Obscure Miscellany, and so they are discovering artifacts and uncovering mysteries, and then there's crime, and we kind of get into all these adventures.
It's very cool. Have you learned a lot about artifacts and
I actually
stuff
have.
like that?
I found myself being able to answer, I think it was a Jeopardy question or maybe some sort of trivia question, simply because I was like, oh, we did an episode on that.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I feel like people on doctor shows or stuff know so much about medicine, so you guys learn a little bit about that.
Well, you try and retain as much as you can, yeah. But we take real historical events and artifacts and stories and kind of put a twist on them.
It's cool.
It's
cool. And you work with Kevin Schmidt, who was in Princess Production Program.
Yeah.
And what's the cast like?
They're great. We've got Kevin, who is a veteran in the industry, and Jordan and I, and the three of us have a great dynamic on screen and off screen. We all get along great. We haven't really butt heads too hard through the first season, and Martin Donovan is our other series regular who was on Weeds, and he's a phenomenal actor, and his comedy is just so dry that we have trouble doing scenes with him because we can't keep it together.
That's very cool. Who would you love to see guest star on Unnatural History?
Like David Suzuki,
Okay.
or some sort of environmentalist character, because he's very recognizable, and I think it would be very interesting to say he was a substitute teacher on the show or something like that. It would just be very interesting and relevant.
And how are you like your character?
How am I like my
Yeah.
character?
Do you have any similarities to her?
Well, in high school I was hyper organized, studied super hard, and kept my nose to the grind, but obviously my high school wasn't attached to a museum, so I wasn't quite as wound up in all the mysteries and the adventures, but we're pretty similar when it comes to the intellectual sort of scholastic.
Okay. And let's see, so Unnatural History is a TV show, so what's your favorite TV show?
Right now, True Blood.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're into that?
I really like True Blood. I think it's great, and I watch Entourage. I've actually got a friend on it. So
Oh, really?
we all get together every Sunday and watch it, so
That's very cool.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's very cool. And what about music? What are you into?
I listen to a lot of old jazz right now, so Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
Sort of digging all the old fun stuff that all my friends make fun of me for listening to, really.
And okay, let's see. So there's Coachella, and then there's Warped Tour. Which one would you want to go to? Coachella.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
definitely.
a little bit more hippie.
Yeah.
Relaxed.
And let's see. If you could work with, it doesn't have to be a guest spot on Unnatural History, but anyone in the industry, who would you want to work with?
It changes every day, with everything new I see. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to, work with, like Christopher Nolan would be great. But as far as co-starring, I think, Ryan Gosling for, so many reasons. He's Canadian, as am I, and he's able to just master every role that I've seen him do, from Breaker High to Half Nelson to Lars and the Real Girl. I just think he's so talented.
And what do you think one of your favorite movies is?
One of my favorite movies? It's hard.
It can be a list.
Oh, I've got so many, and they also changed.
Yeah.
I just saw Despicable Me, and it was
Oh,
great.
you did? Okay.
Probably not one of my favorites, but it was really good.
Have you seen Inception yet?
I have, but the funny thing is I'm actually not sure if I was awake for it. Because I was so tired, and my friends know I can't go to late movies because, anything after 7 o'clock and I'm for sure sleeping. So I was nodding in and out of it, so I actually don't know how awake I was for the entire movie.
Okay. Any other movies lately? Do you go to a lot of movies? Or?
Yeah, we try. I can't wait for tomorrow for Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, I've heard that's really good.
I know, I can't wait to see it. What other movies have I seen lately?
I want to see The Other Guys. That looks
The Other
like a
Guys,
good one.
yeah, that's good. I'm trying to think what's in theaters. Despicable Me I saw, Assault I saw.
Okay.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, to
I didn't
be
like the ending.
honest. Well, I thought the ending was actually clever,
Okay.
but I don't know, the whole movie, it just seemed not where I was expecting it, and
Yeah.
I love Angelina Jolie.
Oh
so.
yeah. Okay. And she's one of your influences.
I wouldn't call her an influence. I just think she's such a fascinating character. I think my influences gear more toward Natalie Portman and
Okay.
Rachel McAdams, the girls that are able to keep a part of themselves almost in each character, and they keep their characters very real and very very natural.
Okay. And okay, so if you could take any movie from whenever, and you would be the original character, and it would be your film, so it wouldn't be a remake.
Okay,
which
well,
movie would you
actually, the
choose?
character that I would have loved to play is a supporting character in a movie.
Okay.
But I would have loved to play Lisa, Angelina Jolie's role in Girl Interrupted.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That
would have been really.
that's very cool. Wow. And let's see, what's your ideal date?
My ideal date. Depends on my mood. Some days,
Okay.
I want to go out for dinner and I want to go for, Santa Monica Pier Boardwalk. But then most of the time, I would love to just order pizza and play Xbox.
That's very cool. What games do you play?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is
Wow, okay.
constantly in my console right now.
Okay. And I love your dress.
Thank you.
So, what kind of fashion are you into?
Again, it changes dramatically. One day I'm like, all like super hippie and flowy dresses, and the next day I'm like all prepped out, or, it just depends on whatever I feel like wearing that day. But comfortable. It always has to
Okay.
be comfortable.
And what about in high school? Were you more of like, did
We
you
had
have one of
uniforms.
the? Oh, okay.
So I didn't really get to do much, but there was a period in high school where I had dreadlocks and, did like the heavy eyeliner and that whole thing. So I went through a lot in high school as far as figuring out who I wanted to be.
And you probably weren't into the same music then either.
Actually, yeah, I kind of
Really?
always liked the oldies and
Oh,
Elvis
cool.
Presley, and sort of like a 50-year-old woman inside me.
And how long have you been acting for?
Professionally, I have almost been in LA for 2 years.
Okay.
But I did it, as a kid in like local theater, and I took it in college. But I planned to go to law school to be an entertainment
Oh, wow.
lawyer, and it was always just something I did for fun. I didn't think that I could actually pursue it as a career, because it's 1 in a million. But I got very lucky, and I'm
Wow.
very thankful.
That's very cool. How'd you break into it?
By accident.
Wow.
A friend of mine was with an extras agency in my hometown, which is north of Toronto in Canada, and a movie was filming near us, and they needed people for a party scene. So he's like, you want to come, $100 for the day, just hang out? And I was like, okay. And at lunch, the writer came up to me and asked me if I wanted a featured role, and I was like, okay.
Wow.
And so I became friends with the writer and the director and the cast, and then they brought me back for the next film to do they wanted me for the lead, but a whole bunch of stuff happened, and then I got a small role written for me, and then ended up visiting them out here, meeting with agents and managers, all very casually, and they were all like, you have to do it, you have to do it. So I thought I'd give it a shot.
That's very exciting. Wow. And is there any part of you that still wants to do the entertainment lawyer, or are you just so into
Of
that?
course, just because the times when you're like, oh, am I gonna have work next month?
Oh, that's
where that
true.
would be like, I could have been at a job that I know I'd have next week, and
That's true.
but then I would have 20 years later always wondered what would have happened if I gave it a shot. So better to do it and regret it. Not that I regret it, I don't at all, but rather do it and regret it than always wonder.
That's very cool. And do you have any friends that are like, oh, like, so you're Italia Ricci, or is it very cool? Just everyone's pretty casual around you.
Yeah, my friends are all out here. My friends are all in the industry, so
Okay.
nobody cares.
Where are you from? You're from Canada?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, what part?
Newmarket, which is north of Toronto. It's like
Okay.
45 minutes north.
Do you get to go up there a lot?
Well, Unnatural History shoots in Toronto, so
Okay.
I got to go visit occasionally because our schedule was crazy. But my family's coming out here next month, which will be a lot of fun. With my grandma, I'm going to take her to Vegas.
That'll be fun.
I know. But my friends back home are very supportive, and they're my biggest fans, but they're not, starstruck. I'm not
That's very cool. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go?
Europe. I've never been to Europe.
Really? That's very cool. Have you been out of the country a lot? No?
Not really, no. I haven't really been outside North America.
And let's see. Okay, if you could play any type of role, let's say if it was more dramatic for the rest of your life or comedic for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Dramatic.
Dramatic?
I don't think I'm very funny, to be honest. I rely completely on the writing and my castmates to help me be funny because I get too nervous when I think I have to be funny.
And what advice would you give to anyone trying to break into the acting world?
I always say the same thing. No one said it would be easy. They just promised to be worth it.
Wow, I like that. Did you come up with that?
I got that actually from a friend of mine, Jonathan Bennett,
Wow.
who is also an actor. He was in Mean Girls and
Okay.
all that stuff. He's very wise.
That's very